kind of a modern NBA wing, versatile, tough, and a high character kid. So we're thrilled. And weren't sure if we were going to be able to get him, but we had him rated higher than he went to us. And he fits a lot of things that we do. So we're happy. We talked to him on the phone. He seems excited.
Hey Bob, how close were you guys? Dustin wanted Mark, Medina, Barry, and this group. Bob, how close were you to buying another pick? What was kind of the other team's reactions to that as far as their openness to it?
We tried. We were pretty aggressive in the second round for in a couple different spots. I mean, a lot of teams covered these picks, but Joe, we were active, we were aggressive, but it just a couple times we thought we had something in a player we liked got taken. But for us, we were a little more selective because we don't have a ton of roster spots going into the next season, so we wanted to be careful. Jacob would be on our team. And then, depending on what happens with a couple of our, whether it's McCall or Mooney, you don't have, 6, 7 spots available. So we were selective. We tried some things, but we're happy with the way things turned out.
Anthony said everything. Bob, you mentioned you went and saw him play. What games did you go see him, and what do you kind of remember specifically from him?
The game I went to, they blew the other team out. So he played a good first half. Try to look what game it was, but he actually hurt his finger in that game, and then he left in the early second, came back, and they were up by 20. I forget what team they were playing. But the thing I took away was he's a serious player. He's a guy that's defensive-minded. You don't see a ton of college kids locked in on that side of the ball. Has kind of a knack for it. On the ball defender, off the ball defender. He had a nose for rebounding, so you can picture him playing in many games, kind of when I walked away. And I think that's kind of the feeling in our draft room, is you can play this guy. And so for us, it's important. We'd like a guy that can play. I don't think Steve's going to have any problem putting him out there. And he seems like a hard worker, so hopefully he can get better.
Bob, to your right, Phil Walker, Santa Rosa Press Democrat. I think you just kind of started into this with your last reply, but is it assumed that whoever you took with this pick was going to have to contribute fairly significantly in the coming season, and is that a big reason why you opted for this pick?
Well, look, we don't assume. Hopefully, he can play, but it's not. Nobody knows. He's got to earn it. He's got to trust him. His teammates have to trust him as well. So the ideal would be that you get a guy that at 28 we can plug into the rotation on a team that won a championship. It's not easy. Whether we accomplish that or not, I don't know. But we like to believe that we got a kid that is kind of able to do that. We at least envision that. Doesn't mean it's automatically going to happen. But we saw him twice. We saw him twice right here, where you guys are on this court, and he knows how to play basketball. Now that's kind of a broad statement, but I think he'll fit well with what we do.
CJ Peterson, SFA. Bob, can you give some specifics as to what attributes drew you and the rest of your front office to picking Jacob Evans with its own overall pick?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, we can play. We run 1-2-3, we switch screens, the modern kind of game that we're dealing with. It's not many players that guard Western Conference point guards, Western Conference 2 guards, threes. That's a skill right there. Shot 37% from 3. That's one thing where guys can improve in the league. You see guys come in the league and you put some time in, you become a better three-point shooter. We're not a team that, if you're playing with our main guys, you don't have to score, but you do have to defend. So we see that in him. Again, he's all business. I like his mental part too. Seems like a guy that's willing to work. Not a lot of volatility in his personality. So there's a lot of factors that I think played into our decision. And solid, although that's not a word that gets many people excited, it means a lot. He's a solid player.
Bob, it really didn't seem like in the maybe 20 to 35 range there were a lot of wings. Did you think there were a lot of similar wings? Or were there 2 or 3 that you liked, or was Evans stand out above all of them clearly?
I mean, for us, when our pick was up, it was clear it was him. There was no debate as far as who we were taking from the board. When it got to us, he was the guy without hesitation. You're right to say that there's a ton of wings taken in succession. Right before us, the Celtics took Robert Williams, but prior to that, I think it was 10 or 15 wings in a row. Is that a sign of the league, where it's going? Is it the lack of size? I don't know. But, the point guards that were in the mix went after him. Not a lot of point guards went in the first round, a few of them did, but it was a pretty wing-heavy draft. So for us to get a guy we liked at 28, we were pretty happy with him.
And when you were trying to get back in the second round, were you looking for wings again and kind of doing another look at some of the depth there?
We had one big in mind, and then we did focus on wings. That's an area where I think we need a little more depth. We'd like to have a little more depth, especially with the back at 2 and potentially 3. But a guy nowadays in the NBA, it doesn't really matter what you call a guy. I mean, it's really raw, just being a wing. And so we tried to get a value play in the second round, get a guy we like, we just weren't able to do it. So we're gonna. The nice thing about what they're working with right now is 2-way guys, which is great. We got Quinn Cook last year on 2-way, converted into a minimum player, so that actually adds a potential 16th, 17th roster spot. So that's what's happening. But the league is fascinating. I mean, you look back in the years, and the wing position was probably the most devalued position in the league. And people thought, well, there's another 6'6" guy. There's tons of those guys. Well, things change. And now you see a league that those are the guys that probably attract most of the attention, because largely to do with switching screens, athleticism, space, 3-point shot, value of that. So it's a little bit of a different thing. So we'll see how it goes next draft. But this draft is pretty wing heavy.
Bob Jacob said he was here on the day of the parade, and he also came back obviously yesterday. What was it like on the day of the parade, and then what were you looking for when you invited him back?
Well, we knew we liked him. We thought we had a guy we liked prior to him showing up. To be honest, I didn't want to go on the day of the parade. I mean, nobody, I don't know who you had to cover it, but you wanted to just go to the parade. Just enjoy one day of something. But when you're watching the workout, you're not really thinking about the parade. He was good, he was solid, knows how to play, and then bringing it back. I don't know that we had to, but when you can, you do it. And showed us more of the same. Just a player that knows. In basketball, sometimes you can value a player by when you're watching them. They'll make a play, and you'll just innately feel that's the right thing to do. Sometimes it's not dramatic. Sometimes it's simple. Just reversing the ball, checking down defensively, boxing your man up, just small kinds of things that add up to win. And you can tell the coaches are really going to this guy. He's a guy that the coaches are going to like. It's funny, right after we drafted him, I told his agent texted me his number, and Steve Kerr was in our room. I said, Steve, why don't you call him? Steve was the first one to talk to him. And then I overheard Steve say, I'm going to put you on the phone with one of your teammates. This is a guy that's, you're going to have to answer to. And of course, that's Draymond. He hasn't left the draft but just did a little while ago. So I don't know what they said to each other, but I imagine that was interesting. Probably Draymond said something to Jacob, and he said, okay. But I spoke to him briefly, and he was very happy. And Joe got to speak to him as well. So it's fun. I mean, as an aside, one nice part of our job is we get to get on the phone with a young man whose life has changed. He's made it to the NBA, got drafted. And it's nice to see. It's nice to hear the other end of the phone and screaming and yelling. So it was good.
I was going to kind of to go there, but there's been a lot of talk about Draymond being in the draft room. What were his thoughts on Jacob? I guess yesterday when he saw him work out and tonight.
He liked it. I mean, he was well aware of kind of how we ranked guys, and I think he actually, I don't know if he saw him the day of the parade, probably not, but he did see him, I think yesterday, he worked him out. I think it was yesterday. Sitting with Draymond right over there, his comments, which I guess, maybe you do understand the value of it, just Draymond said this kid knows how to play. That's a compliment, it's a pretty high compliment. So he was saying things like that, and I think what interesting, Draymond texted was he had to go to the airport like this. And he said, I really appreciate, by having watched the process, what goes into it. Which was nice. I sent that text a little while ago. It was good to have him. I mean, he's, to get a glimpse into what you guys do would be fascinating for me. So for him to kind of be behind the curtain and see what we do, have appreciation for it, understand what goes into drafting one player, all the hours and hours you spend from watching college games, flying to them. We have fully engaged employees and scouts that their one job is to get it right for us at night. Tons of hotels and cars and planes in different cities to draft one guy. That's how important it is. And so to see that work for him, I think he was at least respectful of the process of how not only our team, but every team goes about this and the work you put into it.
Jacob was saying after his second workout that he is the guy that likes to get under other guys' skin and be a tough player. Were there any examples of that you saw in his workouts in the games that you saw as well?
Yeah, I mean, he just has a, some guys care about defense and some guys don't. And most college kids don't have that mindset. It's almost when you get to the NBA, there's a wake-up call with a lot of kids. Say, if you can't guard your position in our league, they will pick on you relentlessly. So you better be able to deliver on the offensive side, because if you can't hold the ground defensively, and you're giving up baskets that way, you better be an elite scorer. And so I think that a guy like this, you're very comfortable. I think, look, he's not going to be there right away, but he has the potential, and he showed it in college. So when he's got a guy he's guarding, you're comfortable. So we have the advantage, and that's what you want in my position as a team. There's so many different plays throughout the course of a game. You want to have the advantage as much as possible. So you'd like to believe that Jacob Evans is a guy where he can hold down his position, and not only that, if you switch on to another position, he can hold that down too. And he did a lot of those things in college. College teams are switching screens now too.
Doing research on Jacob, I kept coming across comments about how intelligent he is, his basketball IQ. How do you evaluate that as an observer? I mean, and in what ways does it manifest itself?
Well, look, I mean, I think one of the reasons why people like watching our team is they like seeing basketball plays, so to speak, playmaking, making the right play, being unselfish, passing up a good shot for a great shot, understanding that for him it'll be pretty simple. Understanding it's better for him to move it to players than for whoever. But some, it sounds simple, but that's not obvious to some players. And for a guy like this, we're not going to ask him to carry our team. The 20th pick in the draft, it's not going to be the reason we win or lose a game for the most part. But you'd like to know, can he play with our 4-4 guys? Maybe. I mean, so just the thought that that's possible is intriguing. That he could be out there with Steph, Clay, Kevin, and Draymond. It's exciting. I don't know if it'll happen, but there's the potential for that. So why you can say something like that is because he knows how to play. Knowing how to play means a lot of different things. It just means not making mistakes mentally, not making mistakes physically, not hurting your team. And I think when you watch him, you see a lot of those attributes.
He seems to kind of have a rare ability to block shots at his position. I mean, did you see that in your scouting? He was just kind of flying in for some blocks.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's feel. I mean, and it's probably a bad way to characterize it, but it's understanding. There's timing to that. There's effort to that. I mean, a lot of things he does require effort, and that's a skill too. Just having a motor, competing, One thing we liked about him is he competes. He doesn't quit on plays on either side of the ball. Again, it's hard to find at that, you think about our team and you think about the games he might be playing in. For us last year with Jordan Bell, we did picture this guy might be able to play in the playoffs for us. He did. I mean, obviously, he played in the finals. The fact that you can get a player, whether it's 28 or 38 or 30, that can maybe play in the NBA Finals and not hurt you, that's about as good as you're going to get. I don't know if this guy can do that, but we'd like to hope that that's possible.
Marcus Thompson with The Athletic. I have 2 questions for you. One, why are you wearing a suit?
I don't know. I didn't have a tie on and a jacket, but I feel like I've been way too casual this week. I've been in sweats and I haven't shaved, and then I thought I've worn a suit for the last ones, so if I didn't wear a suit for this one, I don't know. You think I shouldn't wear a suit anymore?
I don't know. Steve looked like homeless earlier, so I was wondering.
Steve had a good time. I'm not going to say what he did, but Steve's been having a good time the last couple of days.
How much of your I know you talked about he knows how to play, but how do you gauge basketball IQ and things that matter when you're playing in the Warriors offense and playing with smart players? How did you gauge his level of that?
I don't know. I mean, I wish there was more an analytic. There's probably an analytical way to answer IQ because it's plus minus, or you look deeper in the box score. But some of it is the same way you do. You watch basketball. I mean, you have an idea if a guy can play or not. My job, our job as scouts is, does that guy play the way we think a player should play? Might be different than the way you think so, or anybody else, but there's some subjectivity to this job too. I mean, it's a sport where it's not baseball. There's not a controlled environment. You have to play off people. You have to make decisions, and so sometimes it's just the tiniest thing. It's just, wow, that guy recognized making the right play there. And the way we play offensively, there's so much reading and reacting. We play so much random offensively that if you can do just that and just understand this is a time where you should have cut back door. Instead of having to tell a player that, if they can just understand that their defender's cheating out or showing a certain way and just to slip back door, that's something that sometimes some guys just have. We've got two, Sean and Andre are fantastic. Sean is one of the best in the league at that. Just seeing the game. Andre's great at that. So to have a guy that, like I said, I'm not comparing him to guys that have already made a mark in the league, but I do think he's going to be in the league for a long time. I do believe that.
Bob, this is kind of going back to Draymond's presence tonight. It's been brought up before, Draymond has kind of a mind for coaching potentially after his playing career. After seeing him in, the room tonight with you guys, what are your thoughts of his potential as maybe a front office member after his playing career?
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants, I imagine. I mean, he could be in the media. He could be a GM. He could be a coach. He's just a winner. It's just a skill. I mean, he wins. His whole life, he just wins. So I imagine he'd be good. He's just one of those people. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, there's not a lot of people that can. Guy won in college, won in high school, won 3 championships in the NBA. Wasn't blessed with amazing ability, but he was blessed with a drive that's unique and a competitiveness. You bring. I mean, we talk about it all the time, and I told him since I've known him, his biggest driver is he hates to lose. Well, there's losing and winning in this job, and there's losing and winning in coaching. I think he's going to need to compete. Whatever it is, he's going to have to compete. It's just that's a thing that I think he needs. But whatever he chooses, he's going to be good at. And you know what I learned about him the last few days? He's a good listener. And he said he's going to be a better human being now. He said he's going to be toned down too. So we'll see. No, I don't know why he said that, but he said he's going to be better. So we'll see.
You mentioned the two-way stuff earlier. I was just wondering, with Boucher, is he potentially coming back, and then where do you think you might go with the
I think we'll make that decision soon if we haven't already, and then we have 2 spots if we do that, or 1 if we don't. If we remove him, we have 2. 1 if we keep him. we're still learning about the position. What's the best way to utilize it? I think we learned that for our team, we might need more guys that can step in and less development. But that's what we kind of have to figure out. And that's what they're trying to figure out right now. But Ann, I know you didn't ask a question. I liked your what you said today on the paternity leave. That was good. Yeah, appreciate you writing that. I was going to email you, but I didn't. Figure I'd tell you now. No. Well, I liked the article, though. It's good. You're welcome. Yeah. Hopefully she's asleep. Thank you. Appreciate it.